Talking to myself. I guess that's all you do is talk to yourself on this thing. It's just talking to yourself. You're just talking to other people, but pretty much just yourself. Okay. But forgive me if I mess this up. Ah! Already starting to mess it up. Okay. Alright. Okay. Got this cool automatic gimbal thing. Oh, I got it on upside down now. You flip it. Flip it like that. Ah! No. Hold on. I went ahead and I went live while I was setting it up because I had more good feedback about me just messing up while I was setting up. Oh, there, stay there. Okay. Why should it's supposed to be the other way? Oh, crap! Why can I not figure this out? Oh, okay. Okay, so it's supposed to be this way. Go away! Alright. I promise you I'm not doing this on purpose. Hey, what's up, brother? I can't do anything right now, man. Yes, sir. I'm doing all right. I'm going live on YouTube right now. So, let's see. All right. I think I must have put it on. Okay, so there's the top of the phone. That's why. I'm sorry if I'm making y'all sick. I apologize. I promise you. No, I'm gonna keep streaming. Why would it ask me if I wanted to keep streaming? There we go. All right. Switching. All right. Now rotating. Oh, my wife would probably not be super happy that I'm showing off the house. I mean, showing off. That's a funny thought. Not trying to show it off. Just... Alright. Oh my gosh. So anyway, the reason why I started going live before I was actually set up, because I actually got more positive feedback, or at least maybe not positive feedback. Everybody enjoyed what I had to say, but people thought it was way funnier just seeing me mess up at the beginning, which is fine. I get it. I'd be laughing too. But ooh, I bet the mic sounds good now. All right. It's cleanish. She doesn't care. Hey, what's up, wife? My wife's on here, everybody. Say hi to the wife. Say hi to the wife. Okay. All right. So, okay. Anyway, we had I guess I could talk a little bit. We had a little alumni weekend at at our job last weekend, and it was super cool. I think it was so awesome getting to see seeds planted come to harvest. And not even like they've fully come to harvest or anything, but just getting to see someone that you've poured into start making incredible progress just like I did. Here, let me see if I can do this. Is it following me? Okay, cool. That'll be good until I walk to the dirty part of the house, babe. But yeah, you know, you get to, it's awesome working at the mental health facility that I work at. You get to see incredible life changes, and people 95% of the time walk out of those, out of that facility 1,000 times better than they walked in. However, as it was for me, there's so much more that happens after that. That's just the beginning. And it was really cool having them come back and getting to hear from them that some of the things that I was teaching was beneficial to them. And I guess kind of gives you a sense of, I said we had a little class on Friday night with all the alumni, and since I was an alumni, I was in the class, and we were all given a word, or we were all asked to give a word about the weekend, for the upcoming weekend. And my word was validated. And not that I felt unvalidated or like I needed, but it just made me feel so much like I know I'm doing what God wants me to do right now. Because there was about 10, 11 people that came, I guess we had one cancellation. So there's like 9 people that came back. And I think 8 out of 9 of them were in my addiction class that I teach. And just I got to be a part of all of their journey, even just a little bit, even some of them just a little bit, but I got to be a part of it. I got to plant a seed and get to plant seeds to the people that, all the patients there all day long, every day. But after we see them at the end, a lot of times it's, I don't know if I'll see you again. I hope that you do well. Pray that you do well. But then getting to see 10 of them come back with their lives just radically changed. It's just so amazing. That's why I really recommend anybody who's in recovery to look into the peer support specialist thing. And I know y'all have heard me talk about it a lot. How does this thing attach? Oh, is this it? I know y'all have heard me talk about it a lot. And I'm going to keep on talking about it because I really think everybody should look into that. Because it gives you an opportunity to start using your story, especially those of us that have struggled with addiction. Definitely those of us that have struggled with addiction. We don't want that 10, 20 years of our life to be a waste. And it kind of feels like that sometimes, like maybe I wasted it. And no, that's not the case. All right, here we go. I'm gonna go on. ADHD'd out a little bit. But you know what? Hey, while I get set up, if anybody from my classes has a request of one of my classes, put it in the chat. I'm gonna give y'all. I'll give y'all the opportunity first. Okay, so there we go. We've got camera. This one's going so much smoother than last time, guys. I apologize for not being able to give y'all funny clumsy, as I called it last week, fumbling idiocracy. Wasn't able to give you all of that this week. Oh well. Maybe next. There's always next week. There's always next week. And I am going to try to start doing this once a week. I'm going to start trying to do the algorithm. All right, so I already got some more videos made. Anybody who has ADHD knows how it works. You get super burst of motivation. And so last week I got a super burst of motivation, and got a bunch of videos made, and the videos are made, and I'm so excited to be doing it again and everything like that. But I've done this before, and I make a bunch of videos and I start posting 2-3 videos a week, and I can't keep up that pace. So it's not too long before I'm done or just ready to at least slow down, but I've already committed to 2-3 videos a week as far as the algorithm is concerned. So now I gotta work. I feel like all this stuff is gonna be in the way. Oh my gosh, y'all got stuck on the wall. All right, hold on. My fault. See me? Did it see me? Oh, it saw me. All right, I think if I do this, let me do that. That's okay. I'm not waving to you guys. That's how I get the tracker to follow me. Okay. Let me ask you a question real quick. Oh, you know what? That's what I gotta do that for. I gotta have a way to be able to see what y'all are chatting. So that's what this is for. I'm getting out of this. Not doing this one. All right. You may get to see some fumbling idiocracy yet. I'm not done. All right. Where was I? Man, I don't know. That was a while ago, whatever I was talking about. But I do want y'all to put in what's in the chat, what y'all would like for me to talk about. If anybody has any requests, you know what classes I teach. Okay, go to YouTube. All right. Switch accounts. Free recovery. Oh, there we go. We're live. Okay. All right, bet. Recovery. Oh, there we go. We're live. Okay. Good. All right, bet. Recovery. Oh, there we go. We're live. Okay. It's like that slow echo. It's like that slow. All right, where's the mute? I gotta mute myself. It's like that slow. All right. Maybe just turn down the volume on that. All right. This reminds Mom, if you're watching, this reminds me of when I did the percussion at church. Yeah, it was pretty funny. I played percussion for my church when I was, after I got in trouble, got the felonies, and started going back to church. Got super into that church, and I started learning how to play percussion, like the conga drums. And as ADHDers do, I got super addicted to it. And so I went all in on the percussion, and I had cymbals. I had probably, like, I played the conga drums, keep in mind, the conga drums. But I had like 8 cymbals. I had like 3 splash cymbals. I had 2 crashes. And I would I mean, it sounded cool. Don't get me wrong, it sounded cool, but I know it had to look ridiculous because not only did I have 8 cymbals, I had like 2 trays with all these noisemakers and blocks and everything. I mean, it just had to look so ridiculous. All right, it's not doing the zoom in thing like it was last week. Look at that. Praise the Lord. Okay, how are we gonna do this? Gotta get some light going, otherwise I'm gonna look, the bags under my eyes are just gonna be glaring at y'all. All right, no, I was telling you, so What was I starting to talk about, y'all? Here we go. We're doing it already. We're doing it already. I was about to start talking about something. Anybody? Anybody in the chat? Remember what I was about to start talking about? Use the screen with the camera to project where you look. Use the screen. I don't know. I don't think I get that. Bigger screen behind the camera. Oh yeah, nah, because my eyes are so bad that I wouldn't even be able to see what that said anyway. So that's why I can't do it that way. I see what you're saying though. Nah, I mean, even with, I got a big tablet right here, I'm still gonna have to be walking up all close. What's that say? Huh? I can't see that. But super cool. Glad y'all are on here. Did anybody put in a class they wanted to see? Class? Nope. Okay, cool. See, those are gonna be kind of just in the way. But I feel like you gotta have some light. Is that out of the way? Okay, I think that's better. Maybe just put it right here. No. I don't know. I'm not vain, guys. I just also don't want to look terrible. I'm on here talking about recovery, like how good I'm doing and how good I feel and how much I'm loving life. I can't look like, oh, you see how I can't do that. Nor can I do this. Oh, it casts shadows across the face. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. All right, so, record the setup. I think we successfully did that. Is that light unnecessary there? I guess they're all unnecessary. All right, well, whatever. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. All right. Everybody who knows me understands. Anybody who's on here and doesn't know me, sorry, not sorry. I'm not sorry, but kind of sorry. All right. I almost just walked over that. That's gonna be a disaster. Okay. So I was thinking about the cool thing about, oh no, it got stuck over there again. Okay. I don't know why, that's the hand gesture that they created. Is any of this stuff in the way? Is it working? Okay, cool. It's so funny, last week I was trying to get the PowerPoint set up on this screen so that I could walk you guys through one of the classes that I teach. Go back and watch the first 7 minutes of it. It's quite hilarious because I just can't seem to get it right. And the whole time I'm fighting, I gotta get it right. I gotta be able to show you on the PowerPoint. I gotta be able to show you on the PowerPoint. And then I didn't even realize that the stuff was backwards until later on down the road. When I'm watching, when I'm showing the alumni as they're showing up, I'm like, hey, check out this video. I went live last week, and getting to the place, and they're pointing out the fact that like the words are backwards because of the camera. You know how that works. So I was stressing out about it too. I'm joking around a little bit more with it this week because I realized that even if I do mess up, it's actually funny. So I'm okay with it. But last week I was stressing out. There was a lot of really concerned faces on my face. Like, just why can't I get this and why? So we're doing it differently this week. We're not caring. We're not caring. All right. We're not caring. Oh, but you know what I was thinking? Something that's cool about this. First of all, it's cool that I get to hang out with y'all. Secondly, I get to tell stories. Oh, you're over here. I get to tell stories that normally I would not have been able to share at the job. You know, it's just not appropriate. So now I get to tell you a little bit more of my crazy stories. Crazy story number 1. And again, anytime I tell a story about the old days, never am I trying to give glory to those things of the world that used to enslave me, but more so people can say, wow, that guy was messed up. That guy was a mess. And if he was a mess and got his life put together, then maybe I can do so as well. Which is why we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. Okay? So be willing to share your story, guys. Don't feel like you need to wait. Don't feel like you need to wait until you check off all the boxes and get all clean, get it all together. That's never going to happen, first of all. You're never going to get it all together. You might get it more together, and you might get it mostly together, but you're never going to get it all together. Okay? So quit trying. So quit trying to wait. God wants to use your testimony. He wants to use your story. He wants to use all the stuff you've been through to bring Him glory and to bring people who are lost into the kingdom of heaven. And He can't use your story if you're worried to tell it. Okay? So try to figure out what that looks like for you. Do you have to say all the things like I do, like all the things that you've been through and all the craziness? No. Your testimony could just be simply like, man, I was lost. I was hurting. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to do. But I got some help. I asked for help. It's okay to ask for help. That's what the world needs to know. It's okay to ask for help. But I got some help. And now I've got my relationship with God back. I love my life. Now I'm living life the way that it should be lived. That can be the essence and the extent of your testimony. And God will use it to absolutely change people's lives. Radically change their lives. Am I off to the side? Let's see. A little bit. Let's see. Hold on one second. This is how you do it? No, this way. No. Nope, it's the first way. My bad. I'm watching this thing over here and it's a delay on it, so. Okay. All right, where was I? Testimony. God will use your story. Please do not think that you need to wait until you've got it all together. I used to think this little phrase that if God can work all things together for the good. We've all heard that scripture, right? God works all things together for the good for those who love God and are called according to His purpose. If God can work all things together, then how much more can He work together when we're actually trying to do good? Even when we just fumble it all up, doesn't seem like when we tell a story or we try to do something, even if it doesn't seem like it did any good, God can so use it for the good. For those who love God and are called according to His purpose. So please, friend, please, share your story. All right, so funny story number 1. Funny story number 1, and it's not that funny. None of these things are really that funny. When you looking back there, they're funny now. They're funny now. They weren't funny a long time ago. When I got out of prison, I didn't really know what to do. I didn't do too well in school once it started getting into like having to do all the work, like high school and beyond, just because my ADHD was so bad that I wasn't doing well in the classes. I was falling behind. So didn't have the best relationship with school. And when I got out of prison, I was looking for some way to further my education, but I didn't want to go to college. I hadn't had the best luck at that either. I made it through 1/2 semester like 4 times. I'm sorry. I did not make it through 1/2 semester 4 different times, okay? So I dropped out at the last minute 4 different times. But my mom and dad and they're looking around, and they found this school, and it was to become CCNA certified, which is computer networking, Cisco, if you ever heard of it. And it was like a little 3-day school where you went, and it was several $1,000s, I'm sure, at least a couple thousand. And thank you, Mom and Dad, for always trying to help me get better. And it was in Dallas. And it was like in downtown Dallas. And it was 3 days, several classes, and whenever you get done with the program, you leave with a certification. And you can go, supposedly be able to go get a job at a lot of different places. Well, I was still smoking weed at this time. And so before I went up to Dallas, I got some weed. I got enough weed which I thought would last me throughout my time in Dallas, which was like 4 or 5 days. Well, it didn't. I ran out. Okay, imagine that. Imagine that. So I ran out of weed, and instead of just waiting till I got home to go get more, I started really like feeling, and do keep in mind that for the longest time I really felt like I needed it to function, and I might have slightly needed it to function since I wasn't doing anything to medicate myself properly. So I ran out of it, and I started freaking out a little bit. And I started going, this is so crazy. Looking back, just the stuff I used to do is just insane. But I started going around to different restaurants and stuff, and going up to people in the parking lot and asking if they knew where I could find some weed. Just going up to random strangers. Hey, do you know if I know where I can find some weed? Hey, do you know where I can find some weed? That's a good way to just get shot, robbed, anything. Especially in Dallas, Texas, especially in downtown Dallas, Texas. So at the time I drove a 1984 Mercedes-Benz. It was my dad's old car. Thank you, Dad, for always selling me your old cars. Or scratch that. Thank you, Dad, for always giving me your old cars so that I had a vehicle. So I'm driving, it's a nice, it's an older school. This is like year 2000, maybe 2002. And it's a 1984 Mercedes. So nice car in 1984, still nice car, but not like super flashy. But, so I drove into a 7-Eleven parking lot, and I went up to the guy, and he had the hose out, and he was like washing off the sidewalk. And so I did the same thing that I did to the other guy. Hey, do you know where I can find some weed? Well, this guy said, hey, not me, but these guys in this apartment complex behind me, they're always smoking weed. I bet you could go in there and ask one of those guys. I go, okay, sure. Not a good idea, guys. Just not a good idea. I was just setting myself up. But I pull into this apartment complex in downtown Dallas, and I drive over, and there's some guys playing basketball. And I pull up kind of slow, and sure enough, one of them walks over and comes up to the car. He said, what you need, homie? I said, yeah, man, I was trying to see if I could buy some weed. And he said, how much you need. And this is where I royally messed up. This is where I super duper messed up. I said, I don't know, it depends on how good it is. And for those who've not been involved in the drug game all that much, what that does is basically says, I got money and I'll buy a lot if it's good, but I got enough money to buy a lot. So that makes a person that doesn't mind robbing people realize, hey, I could rob this guy. But he says, oh, it's all good. It's all good, man. Come over there. So parked my car and I followed him over to the edge of the apartment complex where there was this picket fence, high picket fence, 6-foot fence. And he just like kind of peeked up over and went and like did one of those loud, I can't do it, but a loud whistle. And he started talking to me, okay, man, where are you from? And I'm from Houston. And what you doing up here? And talking to him, and I talked to him for a couple of minutes. And I'm kind of like, all right, where's this guy that he whistled at, you know? And he kind of looks up over the fence like that, and I kind of look up over the fence too to kind of see what he's looking at. And when I get back down and I look down, and he has a gold-plated gun pointed at my chest. Wasn't a super huge gun, but it doesn't need to be a super huge gun to hurt you or kill you, just so you know. So it really didn't matter that it wasn't a super huge gun. It was probably like a 22. Not sure why you would have a gold-plated one. I don't know, but it was a gold-plated 22. And he had it pointed to my chest. And he said, give me all the money, brother. He didn't call me brother. He said, give me all the money. I said, hey, man, I'm in from out of town. Please let me keep like 20 bucks. I don't have any, this is back before, I think cell phones, yeah. I think this might have even been before cell phones, or, you know, my dad had like the briefcase cell phone, the Zach Morris style. And I think this was sooner than that, but not smartphones. And not very easy way to get money transferred. And I know that because I was always needing to get money transferred from my mom and dad because I could not get my life together for the longest time. And I didn't have an ID for the longest time because I couldn't get my life together for the longest time. And so I did. And here's the weird thing in Texas, guys. If you lose your ID and you need to go get a new ID in Texas, guess what they require? They require 2 forms of ID. And if you're like having a hard time getting your life put back together and you don't have an ID, it's really hard to get 2 forms of ID so that you can go get an ID. I know it sounds crazy, but that is the case in Texas. So, the reason why I say that, those who don't know me, I have ADHD real bad. We go down rabbit trails. We go down rabbit trails all the time. And the reason why I said that is so that you would know why I would plead with someone that had a gun to my chest and try to keep $20 instead of just giving them all the money. There was a reason. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get any more money, and I was stuck in downtown Dallas. So there, don't judge me, okay? I needed to have a little bit of money. I said, man, just let me keep like 20 bucks. And he said, man, you're lucky I'm letting you leave with your life. And I said, that's a great point. You can have all the money. Here's all the money. And I was very happy also that he didn't take my car. That was a bonus. Second story that is not appropriate necessarily for class. Wouldn't necessarily be inappropriate, but not necessarily appropriate. You know what I'm saying? So, not like it would be, you know, you get it. Not that it would be inappropriate to tell this story. Otherwise, I wouldn't tell it now. But it wouldn't necessarily be like an add to the conversation, if you know what I'm saying. Y'all say anything over here? Okay, cool. Just making sure I'm not missing anything. HLC squad, what up? What up, everybody? Oh, I lost a bunch of y'all. That's all right, understandable. Who's the OG still in here? Is the wife still in here? Is the wife still in here? I'm gonna put hi from my tablet so I don't feel like I'm in here by myself. Hey, what's up? What's up, me? All right, second funny story. Crazy story. When I was in, this is also involving a gun being pulled on me. When I was in high school, we used to have grew up in Austin. We used to have keg parties all the time. And essentially we weren't on anybody's land. We would just pull onto the city's property and go off in the woods and start having a keg party. And the reason why I say that little trail is so you know that they're always getting broken up. And so we were out there at this party one night, and I had rode up there with 2 or 3 cars, and every single car had a bunch of people in it, and a bunch of guys just going out. And I was talking to a group or whatever, and there's a group of people over here by a bonfire, and all of a sudden those people start beefing, and one of them pulls out a gun and he shoots the ground like 3 or 4 times. Pow, 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 pow. And of course, everybody runs. Ah! And they run, everybody scatters. Ah! Right? And of course, I'm like ducking. I'm not that gangster back then, so like I'm hiding. What? Oh, but I also didn't run away because doesn't happen to a guy every day, so I'm kind of curious what's going on. Also, the guy without the gun, but the one that was talking to the guy with the gun, he was my friend. And he was also talking crap to the guy with the gun, saying, "What are you going to do? You're not going to do anything with that." Something to that effect. I'm sure he was probably cussing and things like that. But basically, daring the guy to use the gun, which wasn't all that bright. But we scattered. Eventually, we left. I'm gonna start teaching and talking about something in just a second. I know y'all are like, yeah, right. Yeah, right. Let me see. I gotta hook up the HDMI. But anyway, I can't remember what else happened, but for some reason after somebody shoots the ground a few times and you're on city property and you're not doing what you should be doing, usually everybody just runs. And so we ran, or we were going to the car, and I was headed to the car, and I was talking to another friend of mine, and the guy with the gun, who knows the other friend of mine that I was talking to, starts walking up real angry. He's got his gun in his hand, and he's real strong, muscular. I don't know why I was walking like that. He wasn't necessarily walking like that, but he was just like walking in our direction quickly and with intention, okay? And walked straight up to me and gun checked me. Pow! Straight across the face. Pow! I didn't go down, but I stumbled back for sure. Immediately just had blood profusely pouring from my nose. It was pretty bad. Anyway, so then I went and got in the car and left. But anyway, crazy days. They were crazy days. You can ask my mama. Oh no. Okay, good. I was about to say. All right, here we go. I'm about to teach something. I think. I got stuck over there. I don't know why I get stuck like that. I didn't go off camera. All right. Input. Let's see. Input. Oh, wait. Now this is, I'm just realizing that I did not do anything to fix the backwardness. So hopefully we can just get to some good diagrams. All right. Connected devices. All right. Did anybody say what up, Drew? Let's see. All right, I'm gonna talk about, let's see, is there anything else? Oh, before I get on. So it was so awesome getting to see all the people that came back for the alumni weekend. It was just very interesting. There was a common theme between my friends that came back, and it was they had done a really good job of getting established and creating a new routine and start reprogramming their mind with new neural pathways. They were doing a great job of that, but it was a common thread throughout the conversations. And that was that they needed purpose. They got established, they're feeling good, but they needed purpose. And it really is key for recovery, guys. God created us for purpose. But especially if you're in recovery, you need something to give you direction. Because if you just get out, I know you hear me say this all the time. If you get out and you just go back to doing things the way that you were doing before, that your mind will want to start sliding into the old thought patterns, wanting to slide into the old behaviors. So you need purpose, you need direction, you need intention. And they did such a good job of using their intention to start to carve out this new life. But they're all ready for more. They're all ready for God to start using their story. And that also encouraged me with the channel. I'd already got the big boost of dopamine about starting up the channel again, but then that really even helped solidify my desire to do it, because I want to help them find their purpose after leaving. And so that's what another thing that we're going to do. Okay, I think I said all the things. Yeah. Believe it or not, I wrote down to say some of those things, most of those things. All right, let's see here. Maybe we can do this little diagram. The words are going to be backwards, but I'll tell you what the words are. This is something that was quite foreign to me before coming into treatment. I guess there's a part of me that probably knew something like this, but it dang sure wasn't anything that I was taught in school. And then when I actually started getting help for my mental health, I realized that they don't teach us anything when it comes to emotional regulation. They don't teach us anything when it comes to emotional intelligence, growing up and going to school. Nothing. We spend 12 hours, well, not 12 hours, 12 years, hours a day, thousands of hours all put together. If you go to college and if you go to become a doctor, another 12 years on top of that, 8 years on top of that. And how many hours do we actually study emotions? I can't think of any. Anybody over there? Did y'all study emotional? No? And I think it's by design. Because this diagram right here. Because, now, just so you know, it's probably not that hard to tell, but this word says emotions. Okay? These words say logic and reasoning. Oh, I gotta put this over here. These words say logic and reasoning. Or also you could say decision making. Okay? Now I couldn't get it zoomed out far enough the other day, and now I can't get it zoomed in far enough. I'm gonna see if I can adjust it. Hold on. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Oh yeah, that's better. Oh wow, you can probably see me better too. Huh. Well, my bad. I was trying to zoom out. I was trying to be extra precautious because last week, you know what we did. We played around with this thing the whole time, trying to get it right. All right. Okay. I'm trying to see if I see. Okay. Emotions. Logic and reasoning. Okay? Emotions. Decision making. All right? When our emotions go up, all right, hold on. I'm going to get this guy to stop following me. Okay. All right, let's see if it'll zoom in. See? Might still get some fumbling yet. All right. Oh, it doesn't look backwards. How come it's not backwards now? Is it backwards for y'all? I'm looking on my tablet and it's not backwards, so it's not backwards. How come it was backwards last week? Anybody? Does anybody know why it was backwards last week? Because man, that was frustrating. But anyway, now I feel better about teaching y'all something. All right. When our emotions go up, our logic and reasoning go down. Vice versa, when our emotions go down, our logic and reasoning go up. See how that works? Okay. So by design, if we don't know how to regulate our emotions, we're going to walk around with a lot more of this, with our emotions up and our logic and reasoning down. Okay? So that's the way the people that have all the money, that are running all the big companies, that's the way they want it. They want you to not be thinking clearly. They want you to just go along with whatever they say. The enemy wants you this way because he doesn't want you thinking clearly and seeking God. He wants you to be reacting because he can work with reacting a whole lot better than he can work with intention. Okay? So, Cognitive distortions, which are the lies that the enemy uses to get in our head and to mess up our reality. Oh, it started following me again. Now, I couldn't get it to stop following me. Now I can't stop following me. Okay. Cognitive distortions are often the cause for that heightened negative emotion. Okay? The reason why I like cognitive distortions so much is that I think it is the one piece of information that you can learn and memorize, just like you were in school and like you memorized the 10 Commandments, memorize these 7 main distortions, and you know the enemy's playbook. You know how he gets in your head, and if you can know these things, then you catch them. It's a lot easier to say, oh, that's a lie. I don't want to believe a lie. I want to believe the truth, when you know what the lies are. Because when the lies just creep in and just distort your reality, they're not lies anymore. They are your reality. So learn these cognitive distortions. If you don't know what they are, sub to the channel. Stick around, because if you hang out with me long enough, you'll start finding out about them. But the reason why is because if we can catch that cognitive distortion, which is often the reason for the heightened negative emotion, then we can do something about it. We can say, oh, the lies have crept in and they've got me all worked up. I need to do some grounding. This is where grounding comes into play. So grounding, for those who aren't familiar with recovery, that's going outside, maybe taking your shoes off, walking around without your shoes on. Maybe that's just taking a regular walk. Maybe that's taking 10 or 12 deep breaths in through the nose, filling up your diaphragm, out really slowly. I'll just do that real quick one time. Probably could use one. That's grounding. That felt great. You do 10 or 12 of those in a row, and you will be experiencing what I call high on life. Seriously, it's quite great. It's really quite great. But the enemy doesn't want us knowing that. He doesn't want us taking time to realize that we need to ground. Okay? But you're with me now, Christian Addiction Recovery, and so now you do know that when those cognitive distortions have crept in and you start believing those lies and that upsets you because you're believing all these lies, do something about it. Go take a walk. I have a lot of insecurities from my past life, and when my wife and I first got together, I was pretty good about hiding, not necessarily hiding those insecurities, controlling those insecurities. But once we started getting into a relationship, I was back into starting to be insecure about myself. And those insecurities started showing up in the form of putting pressure on her. Long story short, I realized that I was getting in these heightened emotional states and I wasn't thinking clearly. So there was a time there where I would have to tell her, I'm getting up here, I'm not thinking clearly, I need to go take a walk. And I had to tell her, like, if this is your case and you do need to take a walk and you find yourself getting in heightened emotional states, you need to take a walk, and you need to tell your spouse or your significant other that you need to go take a walk, make sure you do it when you're not in the heightened emotional state. You want to have that conversation when everything's when y'all are in a peaceful state. Because if I would have waited until I was all upset and I told her, I gotta take a walk, I gotta get out of here, then that's gonna make her feel bad. It's gonna make the situation tough when it doesn't need to be tough. So you want to have those conversations when things are peaceful. So what I did is I went to her, I said, look, I've realized I've kind of slipped into some of my old insecurities. I start feeling like I used to feel. And I realized like I'm going to have to start taking a walk, and just please know it's not to get away from you. I don't want to get away from you. But I need to go take a walk. I need to ground. I need to get grounded so that I can come back and think straight. So again, the big thing about this is you have to identify what your things are. You have to identify what lies creep in. You have to identify when this heightened negative emotional state is. It keeps thinking I'm like holding up my hand when I'm doing it up there, so it keeps trying to follow me. But if we can recognize when that heightened negative emotional state is present, we can get grounded, we can do reframing, we can do something about it. Which is why I say you have to learn these things, guys. If you have left treatment and kind of faded away from studying these things, and you're not still actively studying to make sure that you're aware when these lies show up, you need to. Because the enemy will watch and he'll see which ones you start to get good with, and then he'll try to slip in with the other cognitive distortions. Okay? So make sure that I say find one of those handouts that I gave you, or go on the internet and find some cognitive distortions, a list of cognitive distortions, and print it out, keep it handy, and refer back to it until you've been out for at least a year, maybe a year and a half. Because the enemy is gonna come back at you, and he's gonna come a different route. If you're defensive in the way that he used to attack you, then he's gonna try to attack you in a different way. That's what happened to me. One of my big things before going and getting help was personalization and blaming and everything like that. So I got really good at blocking those cognitive distortions. But the way the enemy got into me was when we started getting into a relationship and I started jumping to conclusions. And so at least I recognized that that's what I was doing. If I hadn't recognized that that's what I was doing, I would have started losing my cool, and I would have started being angry at people in my life that I didn't want to be angry toward. So again, recognize the ones that are bothering you now, and then learn the other ones for later. Quit following me. I gotta turn this tracker thing off. All right, I'm gonna go somewhere, and then I hadn't even really done much teaching. Let's get to it. All right. The importance of grounding before you reframe. Okay? If you're up here and you have this heightened negative emotional state, and you are starting to slip back into seeing things the way you used to always see them, it's very important that you get grounded before you try to reframe and redirect yourself. Because like I was saying about the neural pathways, is that once we go down through the field of, I got to do this explanation every time just so that people know. The way neural pathways was made the most sense to me is when they explained it like this. If you look at a field, and that field has grass that hasn't been cut for a long time and it has 30 to 40 inch long grass, and you went out to that field and you pedaled a bicycle through that field. A couple of things that would happen. You'd get to the other side of the field, and first of all, it would have been difficult getting through that field, and secondly, you get through the other side of that field and there's just a little bit of an impression in the grass. It's not much of a pathway, okay? And this is how neural pathways operate in our brain. The first time that we do something, think something, it's difficult, and then it becomes easier and easier. Well, many of us that found ourselves in treatment had looked at these past situations, struggles, events, our decisions that we've made, relationships that we were cheated on, and we saw and we experienced that heightened negative emotional state, and we were thinking about these past things which only made us more upset, and we did this so much that we didn't have that little path in the grass. We had a highway. Okay? Y'all know I use that analogy all the time. Well, it's really important that when you are in that heightened negative emotional state and you're falling back into thinking about those things again, to get grounded first, because if you are in that heightened negative emotional state, you have these thoughts that go from heightened negative emotional state to all of these things carved in your brain, creating that highway. So you have to get to a different place before you start reframing. You're not going to be able to effectively reframe when you're up here. Hold on, I just realized it's a little crooked. Is that better? Oh yeah. So you have to get it to a different starting place. Also, y'all remember the HALT, hungry, angry, lonely, tired. Also, if you're in, now this is if you're not in a good place. This is when you're feeling negative emotion or emotion in a negative way. If you're hungry, angry, lonely, tired, remedy one of those things and come back to it later. Oh, this thing is frustrating me. Okay. Because if you're up here, we've thought from here to here so much, we have that carved in as a highway. But if you can get to a different emotional state by grounding, get grounded, then it becomes easier for us to start looking at these past situations, these past struggles, these past stupid decisions that we've made. And it becomes easier for us to reframe it. And I always try to remind you, or anybody, that you get help with those past thoughts. Okay, that better? I keep getting it right and then it wants to follow me. Okay, I think that's good. When it comes to the reframing, you go to a therapist, they help you look at a past trauma, and your therapist says, hey, you know, let's try to look at it like this. And the first time that happens, you're pedaling that bicycle through the long grass, okay? Pedaling the bicycle through the long grass. It's going to be real easy when you go back home, or maybe if you hang around a certain person, to fall back into thinking about things the old way. So because you've only pedaled the bike through the grass one or two times when you've reframed it. So you're going to have to remind yourself, oh yeah, what did the therapist and I come up with? Oh yeah, I got to reframe. And you're going to have to reframe over and over. It takes time. Eventually, after enough reframing, this becomes the way that you look at all those past events and those struggles and those decisions. When we used to look at them this way, I know I'm being repetitive, but I'm trying to make sure that I'm clear. We used to think about all these things this way, the wrong way, for so much that we have that highway carved in. But with your help from your therapist, you get to a better state and you're able to look at that past relationship and say, you know what, it was kind of a crappy relationship, but I realized that I got stronger because of it. And so you'll be able to reframe. That's that reframe. But it's going to be real easy to go back out and start hanging with your other friends and start going back, and maybe they have a few conversations about that past relationship, and then you fall back into thinking about it the way that you used to think about it. The reframing has to be repetitive. Nope, that wasn't the best relationship, but I learned something from it. Nope, that wasn't the best relationship, but I learned something from it. Over and over until that becomes the way that you think. If you do this enough, you'll start to be able to see that purpose, that chance to grow, that direction or redirection that maybe came from some of those circumstances. And after you do this enough, you start being able to just look at all things. And immediately, as soon as you look at all things, whether it's good, bad, whatever, you automatically start seeing all things work together for the good for those who love God and are called according to His purpose. You can get here, people. If your thinking was so messed up, and my thinking was so messed up that I had to go get help. I had to go check into a place for 45 days and get help reframing the whole time. All these different circumstances, all these different things, reframing, over and over. Over and over and over. And when I got out, it was a whole lot better. But my brain still wanted to go back to thinking about things the old way. You're a loser, you're a failure, you're an addict, all those things. I had to remind myself what the therapist said many times. But now, I don't think that, I don't even have to fight with those other thoughts anymore. Most of the time. I mean, every once in a while, something pops up. So one of my insecurities will show that ugly face again, and I'll be thinking the wrong way, and then I'll have to stop myself and reframe. But the whole point is it's going to take repetition, guys. Don't beat yourself up. Don't get out of rehab, or don't stop going to therapy and you start feeling way better, so you stop going to therapy, and then you start thinking the wrong way again. You don't beat yourself up. Just understand that's the science. When you've thought the wrong way for years, it's going to take time to reprogram. It takes repetition. People always say, I've heard people say before, like, reprogram it like a computer, which doesn't make sense to me. Because when you reprogram a computer, you type it in once and that's it. You type it in, that's the way it is. So I don't really consider it reprogramming it like a computer. Consider it programming like how we program our kids at school. Teaching them, reminding them when they do things wrong. We have to remind them the right way of doing things. All right, I'm going to get you to stop. Stop. I'll get this down. I'll get it down where I feel as comfortable doing this as I do when I'm teaching in class. Not there. I'll get it down to where I don't ramble too much. But it's weird, you know, you're in here, I'm pretty much talking to myself, which I do all day long anyway. I got no problem talking to myself. I've got real good at it. I've created these neural pathways of talking to myself quite good. I just haven't created the neural pathways of talking to myself and trying to make sure that I'm actually talking about something as well at the same time. Trying to think. Let's see what's next. Here, let's go through a couple of these. Whenever I do this talk, my point that I try to bring up over and over again, and anybody who's had a class with me knows that I bring up points over and over again. But the point that I try to bring up is God has brought you through the hell that you were in. So next time some crap hits the fan, excuse my language if that bothers you, don't worry. Don't worry about it. That's the beauty of things have gotten as bad as they got for you, is that if God brought you through all of that, you know He's going to show up for you from now on. Should be no doubt. And the enemy's going to come in and he's going to try to plant doubt, and that's okay. We just need to remind ourselves. We need to reframe. The enemy's going to try to bring up your past. He's not going to let you, you're not going to be able to go to rehab or something, and the enemy's going to try to not remind you of that. He's going to try to remind you often. So you have to be good at reframing your situation and getting back and reminding yourself, which means you're going to have to practice reframing over and over. My mom and dad used to pray this prayer all the time. And I think it's a good one for you to remember. God, open the doors you want me to go through. Shut the doors you want me to stay away from. However you want to word that. It's not backwards, is it? It's backwards. It wasn't backwards earlier. Okay. And if we pray this prayer, I think this is something that we need to learn or to remember. That we need to pray this prayer and then trust God that He's going to open the doors that He wants you to walk through and shut the doors He wants you to stay away from. This doesn't really do much good if we pray this prayer and then immediately start worrying that God's going to open the door and close the door. Pray this prayer and trust that whatever happens is supposed to happen. This is the example I give. Rejection. Nobody likes for a relationship to be over. But if you're in a relationship that you're not supposed to be in, would you rather know now or 10 years from now? If you're in a job that's not life-giving and is just draining you, would you rather be fired from that job now or be fired from that job in 10 years after it's taken 10 more years from you? That's the way we got to think about rejection. We can't think of it as rejection. We think of it as redirection. Thank you, God. I'm glad you got me out of that job. I don't want to waste one more hour in it if that's not where you want me. That's another beauty about your life, getting to the place where you're just so ready for God to just, you tell me what to do, God. I've been failing so bad and I'm just tired of trying to do it my way. God's like, finally, whew. It's about time. Been trying to get you on board for a long time. Maybe God's trying to tell you, don't go this way. Go that way. Maybe He's been trying to tell you, don't go this way and go that way for a really long time. After moving to Florida and after restarting my life and after everything is going as well as it is now, I realized looking back that God was probably trying to get me out of Texas for many years. God was trying to get me kicked out of Texas with not kicked out, I guess that wouldn't, but he was allowing the law to be in my life quite a bit. He was allowing the law to bring me quite a bit of rejection when it concerned the state of Texas. But I kept on, nope, I'm going to make it, I'll stay here. I can make it work. But he really was. He was trying to, I think he was trying to help me to feel rejected by the state of Texas so that I would move on down the road. This is another scripture that I really helps me since leaving Honey Lake. And because we can overanalyze if God's opening the right door. We can say, God, open the door that you want me to go through and close the doors you want me to stay away from. And he's very obviously making a door open or a door close. And we're like, but is it? And we'll overthink decisions and we'll say, I don't know if you really want me to go there, God. And I don't know. I want to make sure I'm doing the right thing. And I want to, and probably from a good place in our heart, like we really do want to make the best decision. But we think about it, and think about it so much that sometimes we don't ever make the decision. And so this scripture has helped me with that. And essentially the version I like the best is that a man's way is decided in his heart. So every man is going to decide in his heart which way he's going to go. But the Lord guides his steps. And what that means to me is that get out there and start trying to do something. Try to find that purpose. Chase a purpose. And if it's the wrong purpose, God will redirect you. If it's not the right environment, if it's not where God wants you, he's going to get you right back on the right path. Anybody who's gone to rehab should, especially the one I went to, should know that. Because as all the things were falling apart, and usually we don't go to rehab because we're crushing it. Usually things are falling apart. And if he can, and when all those things are falling apart, it doesn't feel like, yes, this is God redirecting me in the right path. It doesn't feel like that. It feels like life is falling apart. But after getting life falling apart officially, and you make it to rehab, and then you get your life put back together, and then you're able to look at that and say, man, God was using all of that hell to redirect my steps onto the right path. So don't sit around and feel like you gotta wait until the XYZ before you start doing something for him. God, he needs you. He doesn't need us. He could snap his fingers and make it all go away or reappear or whatever. But he doesn't. He chooses to need us. He chooses to co-labor with us. He chooses to say, hey, you know what? I want to usher in the kingdom of heaven with all of my children. I want them to help me. But because he's chosen that way, he needs us. There is an entire world that is hurting bad. And many of them do not think it's okay to get help. And people are out there struggling. That's where we come in. That's where we come in. Going out, being willing to share our story. Story. Being willing to, like I said earlier, say, I was lost. I was hurting. But I got help. That's what people need to know. It's okay to get help. We don't even have to be the person that gives them the help. Just saying it's okay to get help is the help. But so I just encourage you, no matter who you are, where you're at, ask yourself, what's my purpose? Do I have purpose? And if you don't feel like you have purpose, I encourage you to seek out purpose. Find a purpose for your life. It doesn't get any better than when you found your purpose. That is what God has created us for. He's created you, me, everyone for a specific purpose. And when we're living outside that purpose, that's when we experience the emptiness, the lack of contentment, the lack of peace. And it has to be that way. If He blessed you with all kinds of peace and contentment when you're outside of your purpose, you would never go find your purpose. You would just stay. You would stay in the uncomfortable. You would stay in that relationship. Oh, wow. Something died. Okay, well. No, sorry. My little gadget died. This thing died. So sad. Anyway, it's been fun. It's been swell. We'll do it again. I'll get better at it. We'll get better at it. We'll do it together, guys. We will get better at it. Oh, look, I got a little. I can use the ring light for a couple more minutes. Ah! Oh, is it backwards now? Okay, so it's backwards when I use the selfie camera, guys. Just so you know. I know y'all were all worried about it. Let's see. Hey, I figured it out. I know y'all were... My camera just told me you're live. I know I'm live. That would be really bad if I didn't know I was live an hour and a half after being live. Wouldn't it? Okay. Let's see if I got a little bit more. Let me see if I got a little bit more to spit. I'm not saying that because I have spit a few times, even though I have spit a few times. I don't know if you saw it. Let's see what's next. So these are the cognitive distortions. I'm not going to go into them right now because the wife is on the way home. And I've got stuff all over the living room. So I need to clean up. But love you guys. Find your purpose. Ask God what it is. Ask God to make it known to you. Ask and you shall receive. I used to always hear that phrase where they would say, I guess I can start shutting down. I'm going to talk to you. If you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. Quite honestly, I always thought that was a load of malarkey, as my dad would say. Malarkey. That's poop, I guess. Actually, I don't know what malarkey is, but a load of poop. But I experience that now every day. I didn't think it was possible. I didn't even think it was real. And now I get to experience it every day. And it's because I found my purpose. And so I promise you, you want to find your purpose. So please just start looking for it, guys. Whatever that is. Try things. Don't feel like you gotta wait till everything's going well before you can start doing that. You're gonna be waiting forever. So get out, find some meetings. I always say a good Celebrate Recovery meeting is a good place to start. Go there. Go find other people. A lot of times, Celebrate Recovery meetings are people that are struggling with depression, anxiety, divorce, things like that. It's about a 50-50, whether it's addiction or not. So if you're someone that doesn't struggle with addiction, you can still find a Celebrate Recovery meeting. But go be around other hurting people and help them. That's when you'll start really, really enjoying your life on levels that you didn't even know were possible. Alright, I think I'm done for the day. My dopamine has run out. But hope it was good for you guys. Holla at you. Peace! No, wait. Ah! Ah! Pretty sure that's my mom. Trust in the Lord always, with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct your path. Love it. Of course, man. It's what I'm here for. But God bless y'all. Have a good night.